And we're back with another edition of Blood Feud Radio. This is me. It's me. It's that MATT. Of course, riding with me as always is Rhys. What's going on, dude?
Not much, man. It's good to see you again. It feels like it's been a while. Like, did we do one? Like, it's been a bit infrequent, just obviously because of life getting in the way. But it's nice to get it back to normal, like week after week. So I'm happy
Yeah,
to
this
talk some
is
wrestling.
we're consecutive weeks now. I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah! Like, it's nice to be back. Getting back in a bit of a routine.
It's the streak starts today. How about that?
Yeah, I'm done. I mean, it's a better streak than my wrestling like watching lately. Jesus Christ, I've had to keep on like catching up like 2 days later when something happens.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, that's why. In someone asked me recently why we don't concentrate this program on like the current wrestling that we're talking about more, like our all-time list and stuff. And I was like, well, because everyone else does that, right? Like
Yeah,
um,
and I totally agree with that. I mean, if you want my opinion of wrestling lately, I don't think it would be an interesting conversation because, like you said, like a lot of other people talk about it, and just because of the content being so linear, I don't think people's opinions are going to vary too much apart from I love it or I hate it, like with a little bit of like minute details changed in between them.
and be completely honest with you, and I'm not trying to be that guy. I honestly think the stuff that we talk about, like the eras that we talk about, was more entertaining than what we're getting right now.
I
And
can agree with that.
it's just, and I don't know. I just feel like what we're getting now is so much. It's just regurgitation of old storylines, and
I'll tell you what else is nice as well. Having a bit of a nice hour where we can roll the clock back. Anyone who's watching, we all love a bit of nostalgia, especially heading into those winter months, man. Keeps you nice and cozy, nice and warm. A bit of nostalgia, a bit of a reminder of, of your childhood. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about all time moments. So yeah, like if you want to talk about your scenes and what's going on at the minute, I'm happy to voice my opinion if anyone wants to like put it in the comments. But if you want some nostalgia, this is the place to be.
that is 100% accurate. And today's list is an interesting one. It's the 13 best heel turns in WWE, ranked 13 to number one.
I have a
And
couple of ones in my mind, and I'll be shocked if they're not on here. But I'll voice them when we get to the end of the list.
now I'm going to say right now, there will be, I haven't even read the list yet. So we're going to unveil these together.
I love
I,
that. I love that. I love that you can add
so
a little
we're
piece.
going to get an honest reaction, and this is kind of a cool little deal because I and thing is, I saved the link, and it took me a lot not to look at it. Like, all right, what's the list look like?
Oh yeah, because that's an interesting list to find. And even if you don't agree with it, it's still like, what does this guy think? Who's written the article? Like,
Yeah.
is he forgetting about this guy? Has he thought of someone who I've not thought of? I like that's why I like these kind of lists.
I'm really hoping that there's going to be an act of cowardice on here.
You're thinking the exact same way that I'm thinking. That is the first one that came to mind, and it better be on there.
Yeah, it better be.
Yeah.
So kicking off the number 13 spot, it's a more recent one. It's Dirty Dom turns on Ray.
I'll allow that. And I think what defines a good heel turn as well sometimes is, yeah, the moment can be memorable. Dom's isn't as memorable as other ones that we'll find on this list, I don't think. But what defines a great heel turn is the longevity and the impact it has on the product. And I don't think there's any denying that Dominic Mysterio is probably one of the, if not the most entertaining guy on the roster right now.
Well, I'm just reading their notes here. Dominic Mysterio turns on Ray. His heat has been unreal. Is like there's the tagline here. Dominic Mysterio turned on his dad at Clash at the Castle at 22.
I was there. It was
Uh,
a nice little moment.
that's another kind of throwback to you.
Yeah.
He became a member of the Judgment Day, and he is one of WWE's most hated heels. Like, he got booed out of buildings because of this gimmick.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the only reason why that's not happening now still is because I think the crowd have started to appreciate the work that Dom puts in, and the way he got booed back in the day was, you heard a lot of people criticizing about, he's got a great character. It reminds me of the Eddie Guerrero that we got a couple of years ago. He's really putting in the work in the Judgment Day. He's just not that good in the ring. And now people can't say that. So people are starting to appreciate like the whole package, which is Dominic Mysterio now.
And yeah, I think, and who doesn't like a good chicken tender, you know?
Hell yeah. We all love our tendies, dude. That just the layers of character of what Dominic Mysterio is, especially in those first couple of months. I feel like when you turn heel for the first time, it's so crucial that you like hit the ground running. And prime Dominic Mysterio raking into his dad's house on Thanksgiving Day,
Yes.
beating the crap out of him getting arrested, him coming out as Dirty Dom, like he's been in prison for like a day and he's acting like he's going to shiv people in backstage. It was so good. It was amazing, and the combination of him and Rhea Ripley, chef's kiss. Dominic Mysterio definitely belongs on this list.
And it, and then you bring up Rhea. I honestly think he helped Liv Morgan become relevant again as well.
I agree. Yeah, he did. I don't think Liv would have had as, like you say, as a popular run as she did last year without someone to bounce off. Be careful in the comments. I'm not talking about that kind of bouncing. Character-wise, she didn't have someone like Dominic Mysterio to go back and forth with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So number 12 on the list is another more recent one. And I don't know if I can get behind where this is placed. I think Dom's a better heel at this point. But it's the New Day breaks everyone's heart when they kick Big E out of the group.
So my thing about this is, I would argue that the moment is more memorable than Dom's moment. I think people remember where they were when they were watching it. However, that was the peak of this heel run. I literally, dropping the ball is not the right phrase to use when it comes to the New Day's heel turn. That they could have done so much better with this. Do you remember when they came out the next week on Raw and they couldn't even speak because the crowd was on them so much?
Yeah.
Like, we have fallen so far from there. I don't even know what they're doing anymore. It was so like missed opportunity. Like I say, is an understatement. It really was. It's a shame. It's a true shame. It's a chapter in the New Day that I don't choose to remember. I remember when the New Day first started coming around, and they were originally heels before they turned face. That version of the New Day when they were heels was fantastic. Like, they didn't take themselves very seriously. But this one, they had a real opportunity to be downright, let's just say it, bastards. And they just didn't capitalize on it whatsoever.
They had that brief tag team championship run, and
yep.
Like you said, it's a current day wrestling is what have you done for me lately, and it sucks, but freaking the New Day have been almost relegated to jobbers at this point.
Yeah, they
Like
really have. The
they,
mid card heels. Like,
yeah,
are you joking? Like former WWE champion Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, one of the best character workers on the roster, mid card heels. Like, wow, never thought we'd get here.
yeah, it's sad. It truly is.
Honestly,
Next up at number 11, we're going a little bit further back.
so I like to hear.
This is when Trish turns on Chris Jericho, and
Ooh,
joins Christian at Mania 20.
now this was a moment, and I think what made this special was the build up to 20. The video package in itself before the match. If you guys have never seen that video package, go and watch it because it was great. You feel like you're watching a soap opera the way they put it together. WWE have always been great with the packages. No pun intended. But if you actually go back and watch the storyline over the weeks before WrestleMania 20, you were so invested in this. I remember like watching it, thinking, "What's going to happen?" And I never thought Trish was going to turn on Chris. I really didn't. Oh, and just the memory of Trish and Christian just making out at the top of the ramp while Chris is in the ring, just like, why, like fantastic, just unbelievable character work. What did you think of this? Like, because you were around for this. Like, I started watching wrestling a little bit afterwards and had to go back and experience it. You know, post storyline. But I'm assuming you were kind of like watching it at the time.
Yeah, I was okay. So WrestleMania 20 happened in
2004.
2004. So
Yeah,
I was in college at that point.
yeah.
So I was kind of in and out of the wrestling landscape at that point. Like I wasn't like I didn't watch it all the way through. And this was kind of my gray area where I remember watching it at it happened, and it, you know how I'm gonna throw before I get too far into this. Sean's in the chat and he says the greatest turn of all time is Hornswoggle.
Oh yeah. Like
He,
Horns.
he he might make the list. Who knows?
They don't call
Um,
him the little bastard for no reason.
um, no. I remember watching Mania 20, and it was just an interesting deal because you know how we a throwback or not a call out to Cody Cornette. Um, he said that I've watched enough wrestling where I can almost predict it and almost like see things coming.
Yeah,
Um, During the match, there was just all sorts of keys that Trish was going to do something stupid, right? Like she's gonna do something, and I just had a feeling like she came in, and if you look at past people, past women who come down to the ring with a man, unless you're Miss Elizabeth, you're leaving with the other. It's just how wrestling has always worked.
yeah.
So I always had that in my mind when I was watching that. So I didn't think they'd make out at the top of the ramp or anything. That kind of threw me off a little bit.
Good for
But
Christian.
good job, man. Like,
Yeah, this was prime Trish. Good for Christian.
yeah, good for him.
I, I tell you what,
Captain Charisma definitely had enough charisma to land hers. So, I mean,
hell yeah, the CLB still got the woman. I do want to say something though, and you mentioned like you're watching enough wrestling to realize what's going on. This must have been the sweet spot for me. Like just a little bit of a background. So the first pay per view I ever watched was WrestleMania 22. Before then, I'd briefly watched wrestling, like if it was on Sky Sports in my country. I wasn't a massive wrestling fan. I didn't really know what this was. The first like major thing that got me hooked was I just turned the channel one day and Rey Mysterio was in the ankle lock from Kurt Angle, and I was like, "Why is this guy just beating up this guy in the mask? What the hell is going on?" So after WrestleMania 22, I was watching wrestling like quite consistently for a year, and then that Christmas, one of my parents bought me the WrestleMania anthology, um, which was WrestleMania like one all the way up to 2007, so that'll be 23.
Okay.
Um, and obviously, I hadn't watched enough wrestling to realize these little cues. Obviously, now, like you say, I could probably predict it from a mile away. Back then, I was just still a green wrestling fan. I had no idea what was going on. I thought Trish loved Chris Jericho. Do you know what I mean? I was still a little bit involved in a bit of the kayfabe because I was only 10 years old watching this stuff.
That
So,
makes me feel old, but all right.
so when it happened, I was like, no, what the hell? So yeah, like maybe I was watching it through like you say, like green eyes. And in hindsight, I'm glad that I was, because I watched like the golden era of my wrestling, like the ruthless aggression era, through the eyes of someone who didn't know wrestling at the time. So it was a true experience.
And that I wish people would be able to watch it like that again. But with the internet, that'll never be the case, and that's the thing that kind of upsets me just a little bit.
It really is, and I tell you what, the way I got into wrestling, guys, and if this gets to anybody, if there's anyone watching now who is trying to introduce someone as a new wrestling fan, or you're just happen to be a wrestling fan who is looking for podcasts and wants to get more into the world of WWE, the way I watched wrestling and to get myself caught up was, like I said, I started watching it in 2006. I got the WrestleMania Anthology DVD set. You have the WWE Network these days on Netflix, right? Go back and watch all the WrestleManias, like, because you really see the errors, like, form up. And then go watch all the Royal Rumbles and then connect the dots from there. Like think to yourself, oh, 1997 looked like an interesting year based on the WrestleMania that I watched. I wonder what else happened that year. That's how I did it. That's how I built up my wrestling knowledge. And I think that that's the best way to do it. I really do.
Okay. Next on the we got the now we're in the top 10.
Let's go.
Number 10. One of the most iconic turns, in my opinion, of all time. It is the Mega Powers imploding.
Oh, yeah.
It was Randy Savage jealous of Hulk Hogan's friendship with Miss Elizabeth. And
I'm
that's
honestly surprised that this isn't in the top five. Sorry to interrupt you.
me too. Me too.
Yeah, I really. Go on, what was you going to say? Because obviously this is your era of wrestling.
This was like this to me. I would have put this in the top 3.
And
Like,
you would have been well within your rights to do so. Yeah.
I saw the lust in your eyes. You know,
Yeah.
it was cinematic. It was like the 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 promos, the it started with a handshake and it ended with a body slam.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like it started with a handshake and it ended that whole thing ended at WrestleMania 5.
Yeah.
Everything it started at before just after 4 and ended at 5.
Yeah. Savage won the world title at 4. And then Hogan came out to help him a little while afterwards, right?
He came
Yeah.
out during the main event and helped him beat Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
Because Ted DiBiase had Andre at ringside. And Hogan had beef with Andre, obviously, from the year before. And so he had to be the equalizer. He ended up helping Andre. And this is, I've always said this. Hogan, like this or not, he doesn't always win clean. He didn't always win clean. He helped people win by cheating.
Yeah. I mean, all of this is language for Hogan has to pose at the end of the show. But yeah,
Exactly.
he did come out to help him.
Yeah. I mean, he had. I mean, it's Savage won. Savage is the champion, but Hogan must pose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Hogan has to pose, dude.
And they bring that up, like the whole, and it starts there. Like the whole thing starts there because Miss Elizabeth is on Savage's shoulder, and Hogan pats her on the side, on the hip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it's little things in that era of wrestling. I think you've got the stories of, like, these guys are superheroes. They're larger than life characters, and subtlety wasn't always the most prominent thing in the 80s and the early 90s of the golden era of wrestling. You know, for every Ultimate Warrior, you had very few Jake the Snake Roberts. Like, subtlety wasn't always there. But this storyline was a year in the making. It was such good storytelling. It was the slow build of Savage gradually getting jealous of Hogan and Liz's relationship, and it was just perfect. The way it was all like drawn out in front of us was perfect. I love this storyline. As someone who didn't grow up in that generation and had to go back and once again watch it through, the WrestleManias and, like, then the WWE Network. Perfect storyline. One of my favorites from the 80s.
That the Saturday night's main event that um the implosion happened.
Is that when he carried it back to the locker room?
Yes, it was in a tag team match. It was a Mega Powers versus the Twin Towers. No, not the
Yeah.
Twin Towers. Mega Powers versus Akeem the African Dream, which, by the way, one man gang got a white guy to play some African.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh, was it the Colossal Connection? Is that what they were called?
but it was Akeem and Big Boss Man.
Yeah.
Um, and Hogan, instead of calling for a medic, decides to go into business for himself. Picks Liz up, takes her back to the medical room, leaving Macho out there to fend for himself.
I would have been pissed off too.
Oh yeah, like what the hell, man?
And I think
Um,
that's what makes it so good, is because I think we've said this on the show before. There's nothing better than a justified heel who has something to be mad about, something you can kind of relate to. And I guarantee you, although that crowd was in Hogan's favor because it's Hulk Hogan and it's the 80s, there was probably quite a lot of people who could relate to Savage in that situation.
I do remember that happening. I remember watching that as a kid, and then I rewatched it because I wanted to see it again and to see like some of the nuances that I may have missed. And I didn't realize that Saturday night's main event was here in the state I live in. It was in
Oh,
Detroit.
really?
Yeah,
Was it?
it was in it was at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I was like, that is
Lovely.
pretty neat. Like it happened here, and of course I was like, when that happened, 89, 90.
Just a question. I know this is very random, but was Slick the manager of Akeem and Bossman at the time? I think he
I think
was.
he was. I think he was.
So, not to get morbid, but I don't know why this thought randomly went through my head. Are any of those people still alive? Obviously, you got Hogan, Savage, and Liz, who are not. Bossman, he passed away, sadly. Is One Man Gang still alive?
Um,
I'm not sure if he is.
Hold on. Let's find out here.
Yeah. I just had a thought then. I was thinking, and I can't remember if any of them are still, which is crazy when you think about it, because those guys weren't old. Like, Ray Traylor's not old. Oh, he wasn't
Uh, his,
old.
His name is George Gray. His real name's George Gray, the One Man Gang. Akeem the American Dream. He was also Crusher Gray, Panama Gang. He is currently still alive. He's 65 years of age.
Oh, good for him. Good for him. He's like the one man standing. Never mind the one man gang.
But I mean, this storyline culminated at WrestleMania 5, and it was a really that match told a lot of good story too.
It was fantastic. And Hogan posed his brother.
Yeah. And I want to say that they continued until SummerSlam, and that's when Zeus came in, I believe.
Yes, I think it was, and that was around the time where Macho Man became the Macho King, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because then next year's Mania, didn't he have that tag match with Dusty and Sapphire, Sweet Sapphire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 6. Yeah, 6 it was Sweet Sapphire and Dusty against Sherry and
Dusty Rhodes, baby. Yeah. That was a good match. It was a crazy match, but it was good.
Next up.
I was going to say, we've talked way too long on number 10.
Number 9, Roman Reigns making a shocking return at SummerSlam 2020 to start his Tribal Chief reign of terror.
In my opinion, and I don't know if this is biased, I think this should be higher, higher, because
I think it should be at least in the top 5.
Yeah, and I think that because how do I put this? Like for us, it was very clear that he was a heel because he was aligned with Paul Heyman. Okay, but at first, he wasn't really a heel to his family, to Jay. I don't know if you initially remember, but all he was saying was like, I'm the tribal chief. You can prove yourself, but you need to acknowledge me. And then he gradually got more controlling, more abusive of Jay. Then we get to the Hell in a Cell I Quit match, which, in my opinion, is one of the best matches that we've had in this decade so far. Just the storytelling in there is fantastic. Then he becomes the true tribal chief. Jay becomes the right-hand man. And then we are off to the races up until 2024. And look where we are now with Roman Reigns. That is top 5 heel turns of all time for me. I think it was because it was so slow building, because it was justified, and the character that we ended up getting, one of the best characters of all time in the Tribal Chief. I think that deserves to be higher on this list.
Oh, I 100% agree. I think it needs to be top 5.
Yeah.
I mean, without question. It carried us through this era. Like, it carried us pretty much for, like you said, 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I get called a lot, like on lives and stuff like that. I get called like a Roman Reigns, like D-Rider, or like a Bloodline D-Rider. And like, I do stand up for the Bloodline a lot. And I've said this on a couple of lives. There is a reason for that. And it actually helped me through a very hard time in my life. I was going through a lot of stuff in 2020, 2021. I lost a couple of family members. Work was horrible because of the pandemic. And the one thing that got me through is every Friday night or Saturday morning, I could sit down and watch Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman tell some absolutely compelling stories on SmackDown. And it meant so much to me because it was kind of like a bit of normalcy in a world where that had been turned upside down.
Absolutely. And I will go on record that, and everyone knows how I used to. It's one of those things you can't miss something until it's gone, or you don't miss something until it's gone.
Yeah.
That's how I was with Roman Reigns. It was, God, he's still the champion. Come on, someone's got to beat him. Like, come on, like someone's got to beat him. Someone's got to end this streak, And like that's how I was. That's my mentality, like during it. But then I look back at some of these matches that he had. It's like Jesus.
Yeah, the matches and just the story in general. Like
Um,
we live through history. Like I don't think we'll get a storyline that compelling in our lifetime for like at least another 10, 15 years. I really don't.
and I will get a lot of heat for this one. I don't think it would have been. We can credit Roman turning heel for that story. So like he started the wheels in motion, but I think Sami Zayn kept the vehicle moving. He
I
was the,
don't,
he was the gasoline, if you will, that we kept throwing on the fire to make it bigger.
oh, I agree. Um, and I say this to the people who say that. I totally agree. I think him and Jay were the best part of the bloodline, but without the planet that is Roman Reigns to orbit around, none of that would have been interesting. And then you had a lot of people saying, yeah, but he doesn't show up every single week. You don't need a champion to show up every single week. The mere
No,
presence of the bloodline was the point. Like the story continued because the bloodline were there. Roman
yeah,
didn't always have to be there. If he was there every single week, it would be less special. And like talking about like missing something, you don't miss something until it's gone. Like when you used to go live, like with Cody and all that while it was going on. Like you mean you can back me up on this? I used to say to people in the lives, enjoy it now because when it stops, you will wonder why you ever wanted it to go away. And I wasn't saying that from a Roman Reigns fan. I wasn't saying that from a Bloodline D rider. I was just very well aware that we were living through like a generational storyline and whatever was coming up next. And I saw it from a mile away, the Cody Rhodes thing. I was saying to people, listen, as good as Cody Rhodes is on the microphone, as entertaining as he can be, he will not hold a candle to what this storyline is. He just won't. It's impossible. And look where we are now. I'm sorry to say, he doesn't hold a candle to the Bloodline storyline, and he hasn't since it ended. And that's
next
hard.
up we have number 8. Chris Jericho smashes Shawn Michaels in the head. Jericho smashes Shawn Michaels' head through the Jeritron 6000 and started the rivalry in 2008.
That's a very underrated pick, and I agree. That version of Chris Jericho is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite rivalries of all time, and it might be aside from the Undertaker, it might be Shawn Michaels' best rivalry. Fantastic storyline that way, it really was. I really enjoyed that storyline.
Um, and this whole thing started since just after it all started just after 24 WrestleMania 24.
Yeah, it did indeed. Yeah, and it's another example of a justified heel. Like Chris Jericho was disappointed in Shawn for cheating in the match when he was the referee with Batista.
Jesus
But
Christ! I don't remember this.
do you not remember? So
Well, no, there's a. I'm going through these notes that these people have on the about why they picked them. I don't remember, and I guess I need to go back and watch SummerSlam '08.
is this
Didn't
where he
realize.
punched his wife?
Yeah, he punches Sean's wife in the face.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to do it. Like I think he was supposed to be like a passing blow, but yeah, he clocked her in the jaw.
I need to go back and watch that. God damn.
Yeah. Do you remember that what I'm talking about when Shawn cheated?
Yes.
When he pretended to have like that leg injury?
Yeah.
Yeah, such a good moment. And like I say, justified heel. He Jericho resented him for using him as like a patsy to like stop the match and like let him like take advantage of the moment. Like what a storyline that was. It was truly fantastic.
And to end the feud, really, was at No Mercy '08 when Jericho beat Shawn for the World Heavyweight title.
Oh
That
no,
kind of
he lost to Sean, I think, and then he showed up in the scramble.
Yeah, in the ladder match.
Yeah, he beat Sean in the ladder match. Didn't he? Like how did that go? Like, so did the first match that they had was like an uncensored match, right? And then he showed up later in the night, had the scramble match, and then he defended the title against Sean at the next pay-per-view. Is that how that went? Because I remember him showing up to the scramble match like all beaten up.
Yeah.
And I think he was in a match with HBK like earlier in the night. I remember him being all battered and bruised for the scramble. And people were saying, why is Jericho in this match? There's no way he's going to be able to do anything. And then he ends up winning the goddamn world title, beating Sean at the next pay-per-view. Yes. What a feud. What an absolute great feud. That really does deserve to be on this list.
Number 7, Triple H prevents a DX reunion when he turns on Shawn.
Oh,
I think seven's a bit high for this. I think.
Yeah, I agree. The rivalry was great. Really great. You had that comeback, but SummerSlam, and then they were feuding all the way until like 2005, I believe, like on and off. I wouldn't put it as high as this. I think it was great. If I'm being quite honest with you, my favorite Triple H heel turn was the one at WrestleMania 15. Do you remember that one? When he turned on the Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Yeah, that's when he started his solo.
Yeah, when he joined the corporation. Yeah, I thought that was better.
I think so too. I mean, this is the highlights for it. That the reason why this certain individual picked this. Triple H attacked Shawn Michaels leading up to their 02 SummerSlam match. That's what started it.
Yeah.
Michaels defeated Triple H at SummerSlam 02 in his first match in 4 years.
5-star classic.
Whoever was watching it at the time, obviously, in 02, you saw the writing on the wall. You knew Shawn was going to win. Because they weren't going to bring him back just to have him lose. You know, like, why would you do that?
It was so weird that, and you can attest to this better than me because obviously you lived through it as a wrestling fan. Just because of all the things that happened in between Shawn Michaels having to retire at WrestleMania 14 until 2002, it felt way longer than 4 years that he was away for. It felt like a lifetime. It was a totally different world when he had to leave.
And then Triple H and Shawn Michaels traded the World Heavyweight Championship back and forth in the late 02. So it was kind
of... Yeah, he won Elimination Chamber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I get why he's chosen it. Like I say, great feud. I wouldn't have put it there if you know. That's just me.
Number 6. What an act of cowardice!
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
he just dove through that window, McMahon.
So good. They'll be friends forever. They were never gonna. Oh, I knew he was gonna do that.
The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, is born. Like I said before the show, like before we were like going through the list. Fuck, this should be number 2 or 3. This shouldn't, like, at 6. I feel like this is a little low for this. I think it needs to be a little like closer to the top of the list.
Do you know what? I'm a tend to agree with you on this, and mainly because as well, you wouldn't have the Heartbreak Kid without this heel turn. Because after this, he went on to have like a great IC title run. He literally changed his nickname, became the Heartbreak Kid. He had those couple of great matches with Tatanka, with Marty Jannetty, with Razor Ramon, and then he became world champion a little bit later on. You wouldn't have Shawn Michaels without this heel turn. It just wouldn't have happened.
You're right, and I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, it. Marty Jannetty was obviously never going to be a single superstar. He didn't have it. You know, he didn't have. There's a reason why people say, "Oh, well, he's a Jannetty of the group."
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like there's a reason for that. Where he was a very good, gifted athlete, he didn't have the charisma, and he didn't have the character work to become the dude. And this ended his career in retrospect.
Oh yeah. I think it definitely was a combination of this and the fact that he just couldn't control himself backstage, that he was a bit of a liability. But he was never going anywhere after the Rockers, which is a true shame because he not only got in his own way. I mean, they gave him chance after chance. They gave him a chance for the Intercontinental Championship. They gave him that very well received couple of matches with Shawn Michaels when he came back, that famous moment. But Marty Jannetty is one of those guys where you say he's all put together in the ring, but no charisma. And in the era of big characters, younger guys, smaller guys were getting over, but they still had those characters like Brett, like Shawn, like Razor, and the 1-2-3 Kid. Marty Jannetty really just fell by the wayside, and it was just the lack of charisma that did him over in the end.
Yeah, and I mean, Marty Jannetty's career went out the window, so to speak.
Yeah, it really did. What an act of cowardice that is. God's sake.
Number 5.
Oh, this is getting juicy right now.
Number 5, Steve Austin does a deal with the devil. WrestleMania 17.
I mean, what can you say? I think this is a perfect place to put it on the list because I think it was very 50-50 received. A lot of people love this moment. A lot of people hate this moment. A lot of people see it as the end of the Attitude Era, which it was. In retrospect, should they have done it? I don't know. I honestly can't answer that question. Because unpopular opinion, I actually quite enjoyed 2001. I actually quite enjoyed the invasion angle. I mean, would I have liked more big people from WCW to come over and pull the weight of the invasion? Yeah, of course I would. But as a storyline, if you put the people in those matches in the matches that they were in, we had some great matches that year. We had Kurt versus Stone Cold a couple of times for the WWE Championship. The two-man power trip versus Benoit and Jericho, that tag team match was unbelievable. The Survivor Series match was great. And Austin was a big part of that as a heel. But would it change anything about the storyline or about this heel turn? Honestly, no. I wouldn't have done that. I would.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we had too many funny moments with the backstage things with him and Vince, him and Kurt. We had the great matches. Like I say, if I was WWE, would I change it? I honestly don't know. But I enjoyed 2001. Well, what's your opinion on this?
Before we get to my opinion, Cody out there watching, and he says this: Austin making a deal with the devil was probably the worst turn of all time.
And that feeds exactly into what I was saying before. A lot of people love this moment. A lot of people hate this moment.
I'm a little indifferent because, again, 01, 02, 03, I kind of got lost in the shuffle. I was paying attention, so I'm not as invested as Cody's generation and like you guys, because I'm not directly connected to that. Like I came back to it in like 04, 05 because of reasons. Doing just a lot of I yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah yeah yeah. Uh, so to me, it's one of the most iconic. It's because we spent the whole Attitude Era flipping Vince the Bird and giving him stunners and pouring beer on his face. Um, the beer truck. You had him coming down, dragging Vince by his tie into the middle of the ring with what looked like a loaded handgun and doing the pulling the trigger, and out comes bang 316, and Vince pisses himself. You have that moment. You have dropping the just all the iconic Stone Cold just ragdolling Vince and just giving him the business for the whole attitude, for pretty much most of the Attitude Era. And then Vince or Stone Cold says, "You know what? Maybe I can do this corporate thing." And
That
then
image of them two in the ring, like shaking hands, that'll live
and
forever.
having a beer together,
Yeah,
it's like
and JR in the background, like, why, Austin, why?
you
Yeah,
son of a bitch.
yeah. That will live forever. And like I say, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it.
So
You can decide.
we're on to four.
Yep.
We go from one corporate asshole to the biggest corporate asshole, The Rock.
Oh, is this Survivor
Rock
Series '98?
Rock becomes corporate champion and then turns heel by joining the corporation.
Yes, one of the best written shows WWE has ever done. This is Vince Russo's magnum opus. The ones that all the Vince Russo stands hang their hats on when they talk about why he's such a great storyteller. Survivor Series '98 Deadly Games Tournament. Is this the one? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah. And to be fair, it is a masterpiece. You get swerved so much. One of those shows where you go back and watch it, it was very clear that the big boss man was helping The Rock out all the way through the night. And on on first watch, you think it looks like the boss man is always trying to screw him over, but he's helping him all the way through. If you guys haven't picked up on this, go and watch this. Go and watch this entire show again. Like The Rock looks like the odds are stacked against him because he's the babyface and he's trying to fight his way through the corporate matches. But all the way through the night, the boss man keeps coming out looking like he's screwing The Rock by like maybe throwing the nightstick to his opponent. The Rock catches it, hits his opponent with the nightstick 1, 2, 3. The Rock's into the next round. But if you go back and watch it, Bossman actually throws in the nightstick. Honestly, dude, it's very well told. Very well told this night. Very, oh, like I say, I'm not a big Vince Russo guy, but you can't argue the quality of this pay per view. You just can't.
I loved what followed too. It led to the you want to go one on one with the great one?
Yes.
And then the yes, 1,000 times yes.
100%.
And he's all like, how do you say it? He the whole to be the man. Woo! You gotta wait. That's not it. That's not it.
Damn sure ain't it. Yeah, dude. Like the whole lead up into WrestleMania 15 as well, where Austin comes out with the beer truck. Yeah, and this is where it started. Deadly Games was such a good pay per view, and I do think it belongs. Before this podcast started with the list, I I was saying there's a couple of ones on this that I hope that are on there. The first one was the act of cowardice. The second one was this. I was really hoping that this was going to shoot high on the list.
Number 3. Seth Rollins turns on the Shield.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah. I wouldn't have been mad if someone put this at number 1, to be honest with you.
I was expecting it, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was expecting this to be 1.
And you said back at the Trish Stratus and Christian pick, where as like a seasoned wrestling fan, sometimes you can see where storylines are going. You can see what's happening. At this point, I'd been watching wrestling for years. I'd gone back and watched all the catalogue of all the wrestling, etc. I didn't see this coming. I did not.
Well, when Triple H said he kind of chuckled and he said, "And there's always a plan B."
Yeah, and then Seth takes a step back, and you hear that guy in the crowd go, "No!"
Yeah, and he just drills Roman in the back.
Iconic. And then Dean turns, and you don't see this anymore because obviously Dean isn't in the company anymore. The look that Dean does when he turns around and looks at Seth like that, iconic, man.
Yeah.
So good. It's very, very good.
Now,
so well told. And look where we are now these days.
We have 10 minutes, so we got to kind of speed up just a hair.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Number 2, John Cena turns on Cody Rhodes last at Elimination Chamber.
No, I don't agree with this.
I cannot put that at 2.
No.
I can't even put that ahead of Rey Mysterio on the list, or no, Dom Mysterio on the list. I think this heel turn, and this we can come back and visit this next week as well, because we can talk John Cena. We can talk John Cena next week.
Yep.
But my opinion, the John Cena heel turn was a waste of our time. It was all for naught. They were trying to recreate the magic of the NWO, which failed miserably. Hogan's heel turn, far more superior than John's heel turn. And because 3 months later, guess what? He's back to being a face. Surprise, surprise, everyone.
Well, look how this podcast comes full circle, brother, because look what I said at number 13, right? I said to have the best heel turns are about longevity and what you do after the moment, yeah?
Yep.
John Cena turning heel, great moment. The moment was fantastic. Everyone was like, what's going to happen now? Where do we go from here? The moment was fantastic, iconic. After that, I don't know what we were doing. I don't know what we did. We didn't change. Cena literally changed nothing about himself. He didn't change his hats, his t-shirts, his theme song, his look, his nothing. He didn't change his moves in the ring. And we didn't get any progression with The Rock. And nothing. And I am so pissed off that we'll probably never get anything. Maybe they'll fix this by the time he retires. I highly doubt it. But this does not belong at number 2. No, it does not.
Absolutely not. And number 1.
I don't know. What is going to be number 1?
WrestleMania 13. WrestleMania 13.
Of course.
Bret turns his back on the fans.
The double turn, the best double turn of all time. Without a doubt. I can't argue with this. And to be honest with you, I forgot about this. But as soon as you said WrestleMania 13, that's how iconic it is. This belongs in the top 3. I'm not mad that it's at number 1. It's one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. It's the best double turn of all time. It's, in my opinion, the best work Bret Hart has ever done in his career. That 1997 heel run that he went on was so entertaining, and it really brought out the creative side in Bret. Bret has always been great in the ring, but the way he was able to develop his character as a heel in 1997 really just goes to show you that he gets it. He gets wrestling as a whole package, Brett.
And that's the like you have said everything that really needs to be said about that heel turn, because there was, like you said, the match itself was, there's a reason why it was the inaugural match that was the first match to be put under the Hall of Fame. It's the first inductee into the Hall of Fame for a match. It has the most, one of the most iconic pictures ever taken, with Stone Cold just crimson mask, and just it that made Stone Cold. Like,
yes,
Stone Cold, yeah, his Austin 316 when he won the King of the Ring, that strapped a rocket to his ass. But the crimson mask and just showing how tough he is made him even larger than life. And
100%.
I think that catapulted him even further.
It might be, in hindsight, that might be one of the most important moments in wrestling history, that match, that double turn.
I mean, we can talk about that. I mean, there's just a lot of like just the hits. I mean, again, I'm going to touch on this, that we're the nostalgia act of the podcasting community, and we're going to talk about these moments, and we could do a whole episode on WrestleMania 13 if we really want to do a deep dive.
I would love to. Yeah, I really, yeah.
It's just to close out, because we got 5 minutes. We're still gonna be here every Tuesday to talk about this stuff. I'm gonna try to get someone to fill in. I'm not sure if my brother's gonna be able to go on Thursday. Hopefully, we can get someone to if he can't go for that, and if we're going, hopefully going to be going Friday for our Friday show. Same time as always. It's the 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and so we just got a lot going on as far as like family wise. So he might be here, he might not. So anyway, that being said, I want to thank you, Rhys, for taking this hour every week, every Tuesday, and
I love it. I enjoy it, dude, as always.
It's yeah, and get back to a little sense of normalcy, if you will.
Yeah, for real, dude. Yeah, 100%. It's been great talking to you, and anyone who showed up in the comments, by the way, yeah, shout out to you for watching.
Cody was here, Sean was here, Matt Dulis was in the house, and whoever else was just watching. Thanks for taking your time and watching our list of the week. We like our list here.
We love our list. Yeah,
we love our list. And I had a chance to talk to my brother one-on-one this weekend, because he was back here in Michigan visiting family, and I don't think he really understands what we're trying to do here, Rhys. I want to say he needs to really focus on details, because I don't think he's listening properly.
I don't think so either. Like,
I don't know if you need. I don't know if we need to say it a little bit louder or whatever. But do you want to tell him one more time?
Yeah, man. If you don't understand, then you just need to fire us, you fucking mark.